Jody Avirgan here. I'm glad you're enjoying 30 for 30 podcast, part of a special collection of sports audio documentaries from ESPN Films. We're finding the best sports stories for you right now. And to do that, we're behind the wheel of the Mini Countryman, the biggest mini yet.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
To find great sports stories, you have to get out into the world and follow your instincts. That's where the Mini Countryman's all-wheel drive comes in handy. With all four, we can chase down a story in the city, the country, and most places in between. Podcast equipment isn't very bulky, but even if we're hauling a lot of gear, there's plenty of cargo space for all your stuff. And if a few of our producers tag along, no problem. The Mini Countryman comfortably seats 5 adults. The Countryman may be big, but it still drives like a Mini thanks to the twin-power turbo engine. No matter what story you're chasing, the Mini Countryman will help you find it. It's available now, and so are 30 for 30 podcasts. Visit miniusa.com/countryman today.
Don Le Batard.
The bifocal eyeglasses.
Stugotz.
Marcus Mariota. Growing up right in front of our eyes.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Customers who switch to Progressive save an average of $500. Call or click today and find out if they could save you hundreds on your car insurance. Lane Kiffin going to join us in 90 minutes, 12:30 Eastern, on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Denver Broncos cornerback Aqib Talib and Oakland Raiders wide receiver Michael Crabtree each had their 2-game suspensions reduced to 1 game days after they were ejected for fighting, the league announced. Mike Gundy has decided to stay at Oklahoma State after sources said he met with Tennessee athletic director John Curry earlier Tuesday in Dallas about the Volunteers' head coaching vacancy. Gundy took to Twitter on Tuesday night to announce his intentions, tweeting, "Cowboy for life. Hashtag go Pokes."
Oh, man. Everyone's using
Hashtag
Tennessee.
okay
Tennessee's
State.
a prostitute.
He should have added another hashtag, got a big fat raise.
Is Tennessee a sex worker? Like Tennessee right now, all these coaches right now are just going there to find a raise. God, that's unpleasant. Gundy, I'm a cowboy for life.
Well, now it's Purdue's Jeff Brom.
It's the move. Just everyone should interview with Tennessee. Herm Edwards, everybody. Just call Tennessee, see if they'll take an interview.
And finally, citing trending data and global news events, Dictionary.com announced Monday that it is named complicit its word of the year for 2017. Domino's loves you so much that they are offering 50% off the menu price on all pizzas when you order now on Domino's.com. Online only and valid November 27th through December 7th. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Offer only applies to the pizza portion of your order. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
The Eli Manning thing is fascinating. The reaction to it has been really interesting because I'm going to eliminate the names, but I'm not going to eliminate the emotions. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to give you no other information other than to say a quarterback in the National Football League was offered a chance to start this weekend, but he declined because he wasn't going to be allowed to finish. They wanted to play his backups.
Right.
That quarterback was then so insulted by this disrespect that he stood in front of his locker and he made matters worse after a lifetime of never doing anything that would be construed as against the team or controversial or anything that would make matters worse. Eli Manning never makes matters worse publicly with his words. He buried the organization by getting in front of his locker and blubbering. Those were real feelings. I don't blame him for having them. I don't blame him for feeling hurt and disrespected and wounded by it. But again, if I just tell you, I didn't hear that.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you one thing. I know one thing. Did you watch Gino? Wait a minute, hold on. I've been watching Eli. I've been watching Eli.
All right, the Eli.
What is it? Tell me this. Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. What has Eli been doing?
Let me finish.
What has Eli been doing?
Don't put other words in people's mouths.
Okay, go ahead.
Eli Manning has thrown for over 4,000 yards 6 of the last 8 seasons. That's a fact.
Okay, this is a passing league. I can do that in my sleep.
Let me finish. No, clearly not.
Come on, man.
Gino couldn't do it. And you know
okay,
it.
listen.
And the boy,
Listen,
the boy,
I'm
you
listen.
know
I'm
it.
not. Listen,
Then
I'm
you know
not.
how to do
Listen.
it.
I said right off the top. I'm not here to
Well, then let me
Gino,
finish.
but
Because I got another place I'm going.
Was Gino also on a bad team?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
But I got another argument. Let me ask you a question. What quarterback do you know? No running game, no offensive line, no receivers to speak of, succeeds. Who is it? Who is
hold
it?
on. Did the Giants have the number one defense?
Aaron Rodgers.
No, I'm talking about this
No,
year.
wait a minute, hold
I'm talking
on.
about
Wait,
this
no, because y'all want to hold Eli down. Didn't the Giants win 11-5 last year, right?
Did they go to
wait,
playoffs?
hold on.
Did they go to playoffs?
Basically the same. They had pretty much the same cast of character. Now we know they had injuries.
Russell Wilson, too, while we're at it.
Yeah, that guy, too. I didn't understand much of that. Did you? Or?
I love this impassioned defense. Like, if I tell you in a vacuum, Stugotz, a quarterback hasn't made the playoffs.
Right.
5 of the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
That quarterback has had 4 losing seasons.
Yep.
In the last 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Is that quarterback's job in trouble? The answer's always yes.
Yeah, but then if you just go back a little bit further, it's 2 Super Bowls. But you're right. Yes, that answer is always yes. Always yes. That his job is in jeopardy. But that's where you get into this thing with Eli where it's the whole resume thing. It's the totality, the body of work. 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs.
I have found fascinating to see the amount of passion and emotion. I didn't know that Eli Manning was this popular. Right. I didn't know that anybody would rush to the defense of Eli Manning in this impassioned way that would create this argument between Stephen A. Smith and Damian Woody as if Eli Manning is above sitting for a 2-9 team that hasn't had a winning record 4 of the last 6 years and has made the playoffs 1 of the last 6 years.
And everyone's talking about the loyalty stuff with Eli Manning and the Giants. How could the Giants do something like this to Eli? So you just gave what he's done in the last 6 years, which haven't been great. They still rewarded him with a 4-year, $80 million contract 2 years ago.
Well, this is
$80 million.
Gosh, this is why it's so hard to make the difficult, unpopular, emotional decision for these coaches. The thing that McAdoo is doing is the right thing. You need to break free of Eli Manning. You can't keep building around Eli Manning. He's too old. You need to start over with whatever the next thing looks like.
Well, he's too old and you're really far away because you have no running backs. You have no wide receivers. You have no offensive line. You're really far away. So, I mean, Eli should view this as, wow, okay, I'm going to get out of this and go to a place where I can possibly win.
It's going to be better for Eli Manning.
Correct.
If he goes to Denver or Jacksonville, it would be better for him. But what I'm saying is, we've talked before about how difficult it is to pull the plug on Alex Smith, to pull the plug on Joe Flacco, to pull the plug on somebody who's done some winning for you, Tyrod Taylor, some winning. You're seeing how difficult it is right now. Ben McAdoo and the management of the Giants are getting scorched for a quarterback that I simply did not know was this popular. I didn't know that anybody cared about Eli Manning in this way. Like, I understand Tom Brady is a symbol. I understand LeBron James is a symbol. I even understand his brother as a symbol. But Eli Manning has been the blank face. The blank face. You don't know whether it's winning, losing, telling a joke, snoring. He's been the
like
blank.
People were saying how emotional he was in front of his locker yesterday, and to me that was just the same face that he's always shown. I'm not even certain he was that emotional.
This is funny to me about Eli Manning. The thing that's happening with him. You do realize anytime someone's crying, anytime I don't think you've heard me say a whole lot in the history of this show to pile on somebody who was crying. Even if it's Terrell Owens weeping bipolar-like about Tony Romo. There haven't been a lot of times.
That was weird.
Yeah.
It was a weird one.
There haven't been a lot of times that I mock someone in that kind of pain. So I'm not going to mock Eli Manning for being in that kind of pain. I understand him feeling all of these things. What I don't understand is media members feeling it on his behalf.
Right.
And I don't understand how we're just ignoring that he was offered the start and now he's helped make this a mess. Because if he was offered the start, you do realize, right, that if he was offered the start and they said before the game, Eli Manning's going to play the first half. If we're doing well, we'll keep him playing. If we're not doing well, we're going to see what some of the other guys do.
A very fair way to
it wouldn't be this.
No.
Eli Manning helped turn it into this by getting in front of his locker and blubbering.
Right. It's really kind of selfish when you think about it.
No, it's just emotional. It's human.
Dan.
What it is human.
No, Dan, they're paying him a lot of money. They offered him the opportunity to start football games like he always has, to keep his record intact, that stretch of consecutive starts in the NFL. They gave him that opportunity, and he said no. Like a little baby, a petulant child. No. Starting a half a game is not good enough for me. I want the entire game, even though you've had the last 200-plus entire games to do it.
It's human. If I said that to you right now, if I said a co-host was going to sit in there for you occasionally, we're going to see what other people can do.
I mean, it happens all the time.
With you. I'm saying specifically
So what, I do
you.
Half the show, and then you bring in someone else for the second half of the show?
I'm saying you would get hurt by that.
Do I get paid full price?
Yes.
I might take that deal. So I get to do half the show. I get paid full price. You bring someone else in here.
We're going to try him
at
out.
the halfway point.
Yeah, but it's going to be the end of. I mean, Eli Manning's not going to get to keep playing for the Giants.
Do I get the second 2 hours or the first 2 hours? Do I have to get here at 8 is what I'm asking you.
You can get here whenever you want under this deal, but under this deal, someone's going to take your job in a year or two.
All right, but I want the last 2 hours.
Okay.
All right.
So are we planning the end right now?
No, we're not planning the end at all. I'm just saying that. And are you also telling me that if we're having a good show, I get to stay in? We don't bring in that other person. I get to stay in and finish out the show, because I think Eli would have been offered that opportunity.
You wanted to get here late. Didn't you realize how
but
you
now
just
I'm thinking about
this?
it on the front end. What if I did the first 2 hours because I had something going on that day and I wanted to come in early to the first 2 hours and we were having a good show?
Yeah, but you were just negotiating to come in lazier and later. That's just what you negotiated, and then.
Well, I was negotiating doing half the work for the same price, and that's what they offered Eli Manning.
I am not making this up when I say this. Stugotz and I. There was one time where in our negotiation, Stugotz was given the power. At the end of it, we had a no-compete clause, both of us, that I had not given him, and he got $100,000 less than where we started. That's a true story.
Watch that one.
I ain't got time to bleed.
My finest moment.
That was amazing. To watch Stugotz negotiate that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I was all of a sudden, I had a non-compete because of what Stugotz did.
Sorry about that. I didn't get my money. I mean, what a disaster. Jeez, what was I doing?
Don Le Batard.
And finally, an unearthed letter from Tupac to Madonna reveals that he broke up with Madge in part because of a comment she made about rehabilitating rappers and because he feared his fans wouldn't accept him dating a white woman.
Stugotz.
Woman.
What did I say?
Women.
Oh, woman.
You always make the singular plural.
I know I do that.
You always make the plural singular.
Yeah. So it's white woman. Bingo.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
The story of the day is the Giants have benched Eli Manning for Geno Smith. He had started 210 regular season games. They haven't benched him. He declined to start.
Right.
They gave him the right to start. This is something that's funny here, Stugotz, because I'm going to do this without attaching the names and the emotions to it. The names or the emotions.
All
just clinically, I tell you. Quarterback X is 2-9. Quarterback X has not been to the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years. Quarterback X has had 4 losing seasons in the last 6 years. Quarterback X is old. Are you surprised that quarterback X is sitting so they could take a look at the younger players? The answer is...
Well, is quarterback Y Geno Smith?
That's the problem.
Well, why is it a problem?
Because he's been terrible.
I know, he has been terrible. He has been terrible, and that's part of it. Geno is part of it.
And I know Ben McAdoo also mentioned that, Davis Webb?
Okay, but can you do it without the particulars, please? I'm trying
without the particulars, I understand where you're coming from.
No, but I'm going to go another place with this. Now, without the names or the emotions, now I tell you, somebody is going to have to do half the work. They're still going to keep something they care about intact in a very long streak, but they're going to get paid the same money. They're going to do half the work, and at the end of their career, they're going to be sent to a team that has a better chance of winning. Should that quarterback be crying about that, or should that quarterback want that?
He should want it. He should want that.
I'll give the other side on this. I can understand Eli not wanting that token. What, you're going to just let me start so I can keep this streak going?
But I didn't feel it was like that.
Mike.
I felt like it was just starting and getting you to keep starting, and we'd also like to give
Mike,
the other guys some playing
the
time.
The streak's the only reason why they offered him
Mike,
that
opportunity. But one second, Mike. Do you think if Eli were playing, yes, I do believe they did it because of the streak.
Which is transparent to Eli,
but that's doing right by Eli Manning, all right?
Guess,
because they know the streak's important to him. But do you really think if Eli is 16 of 18 for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns at the half, they're going to take him out? Because I don't.
No, if he has it going, if he's really cooking, they're not going to take him out. But I'm with Eli on this, and I wasn't. It was because of the particulars and actually investigating this. I'm with Eli in passing up that. Why? You're going to embarrass me that way? You're just going to give me a token start and get me out of the way?
No, but that's the part. I get the part of how a very human thing of how it is that he feels both embarrassed and disrespected. The part that I'm marveling at is we rarely treat these guys like these kinds of human beings. Tyrod Taylor, when he got benched a couple of weeks ago, we don't care whether he's disrespected or not. Like, that doesn't feel like what you have. You had some people trying to defend Tyrod Taylor on the merits of his numbers have been pretty good. There's no one defending Eli Manning that the play of that team has been any good. No one is defending his play or their play. We know what Eli Manning is. You don't have to see 5 more games of Eli Manning to know what he is.
I think a lot of people would say, though, it's not Eli's fault. They don't have any wide receivers, no running game, no offensive line. What did he do?
That's fine. It's not his fault. But then I can say it's not management's fault either. They got him plenty of receivers. They all got hurt. That's the game's fault.
They did.
Like, I mean,
they all got hurt in one game.
He had 3 receivers. They all got hurt. That's not Eli's fault. That's not management's fault. That's not Geno Smith's fault. And so you know what we're going to do? We're going to be 2-9, and we're going to look at the young guys.
Yep.
And I understand you can't take the emotion out of it because we're in the emotion business. Like, this is the emotion business.
Plus, losing at this point is better for the Giants. Dan, it is. I don't care what anyone says.
Of course, it's better for the Giants have said, let's go. We're going to tank.
Yep.
We're not going to play that, and that's best for the organization. Who can dispute that? The Giants winning against Kansas City at home was not good for their organization.
Not at all. And so you play Gina, and Eli should. I mean, I do understand why he's hurt. I absolutely get that, but
it's
I really
totally
think
understandable. But
I think the Giants actually did right by him. Like, hey, we're going to move on. We're not even close, Eli. We're going to move on. We're still giving you a chance to keep your streak intact. He said no to it.
This is what I would ask you. Since when, in these conversations about sports in sports radio, when the fan tends to be pro-management at every turn, when the player is always exhibiting some form of selfishness because the player's interests when he's holding out or when he wants more playing time or more touches aren't aligned with the team or management or the fan base. Since when, and this is the question I want to ask you, since when do we care when an athlete gets his feelings hurt? Since when? Since when do we care? Like, this is such an overzealous protection of Eli Manning and his feelings being hurt. And I agree with you. I understand from a very human place. We can all understand what it's like to be doing a good job at work and being bleeped by the boss. But since when do we care as sports fans about when a guy's feelings are hurt? When we don't care that Kevin Durant's feelings are hurt and that he's on private accounts, only enough to mock him. Like, when do we care that the athlete is feeling hurt?
But optics factor into this, right? Like the fact that you had Eli kind of blubbering in front of his locker yesterday.
But that's why I'm saying,
right?
What I'm saying is I totally understand his human response to be embarrassed and feel disrespected by that. What I don't understand is the next response, which is that makes it worse for everyone involved that he's in front of his locker making that mess for the team by blubbering. Like, that makes it worse for everybody involved because now he's tapped into this thing where he's made it worse for everybody because now all of a sudden there's emotion. Oh, it's a hurt human being. Look at Eli Manning. He's crying. But since when do we care? Like,
I guess we care when the guy actually cries. Your beloved
athlete being hurt. I saw Dwayne Wade. My father ripped Dwayne Wade on television yesterday. Dwayne Wade was yelled out of town by the Miami Heat. He's being selfish. He wants more money. Why can't he take what the team is offering?
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas was hurt, but I don't. Do you think?
Yeah, we did, especially considering everying that happened in the playoffs. We felt bad that he got.
Boston didn't feel bad.
The Boston media was happy.
No, Boston got Kyrie Irving. Boston media didn't care that Isaiah Thomas sacrificed and playing time after the death of his sister. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I saw a lot of people feeling bad for Isaiah Thomas.
Where?
On social media.
No, but Mike, the difference is Dan's talking about the New York media. I'm talking
about a media response, Mike. I'm not talking about some people feeling hurt for an athlete because they're fans. I'm talking about Michael Kay and Mike Francesa with these emotional diatribes protecting Eli Manning.
Keep in mind, I believe both those guys have had weekly shows with Eli. Eli's been very good to the press and the media in that market.
I get all of that.
And so that skews it. I would guess, I'm guessing, I shouldn't say that matter of factly, I'm guessing that would skew people's opinions about Eli Manning and caring about Eli Manning. and how much they care about him. They have relationships, and he's been good to him.
Do we care about Geno Smith's feelings when his teammate punched him in the face? Do we care about them, or did we just spend the whole time mocking Geno Smith?
Mocking.
Okay, we didn't care about his feelings, right? That he was in front of his locker, hurt because a teammate punched him in the face and then got cut and he made a mess in New York. We didn't care about his feelings there.
I mean, he's got one ring in my record book. 2 rings, 1 ring. He's got 1 ring in my record book. That's it. My personal record book, Eli. He doesn't get credit for sticking a ball in David Tyree's face mask.
What does that have to do with what
Because he's a Super Bowl champion.
Exactly. 1-time Super Bowl champion.
Oh, so you win a championship and...
It is different. I mean, he was at the top of a mountain with that very franchise.
Yes.
And he was there 2 times.
So wait a minute. So you're entitled to have emotions when you win a championship as a player.
I think you're far more likely to get this reaction from a media entity.
Was Green Bay? I don't remember the reaction when Favre was essentially ran out of town. Ran out of town after going to the NFC Championship game and losing to Tom Coughlin's frozen face.
Don Le Batard.
If it's 3% on $100 million, that's $300,000. On 120, it's 360.
Stugotz.
3% of $100 million is $3 million, Stugotz.
Oh, my bad.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Lane Kiffin going to be there in 1 hour, 12:30 Eastern. Here's your SportsCenter update. Denver Broncos cornerback Aqib Talib and Oakland Raiders wide receiver Michael Crabtree each had their 2-game suspensions reduced to 1 game days after they were ejected for fighting, the league announced. ESPN NFL analyst Herm Edwards has emerged as a serious candidate to become the head coach at Arizona State. The 63-year-old will interview with the school this week. And finally, the developers of the game Fortnite filed a lawsuit against a 14-year-old who allegedly used cheating software to get a competitive edge in multiplayer. His mother is fighting back and is calling the entire lawsuit into question, admonishing Epic for publicly naming her son, who was a minor, arguing that Epic has not shown proof that her son modified the game as the company stated in its suit, that she never gave him the required parental consent to play, and that the company never actually suffered mass profit loss because the game is free to play. Name is Epic. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
What are you muttering, Mike?
Epic's a company.
Oh, sorry.
You're surprised that he doesn't know what he's reading? That the words are coming out of his mouth, the papers?
I read it well, though. I mean, I nailed it.
Yeah, but the retention was a problem.
Well, it's not really, is it retention or just the basic understanding of what it is I'm reading? I don't know if that's a retention issue, right?
Totally
Either one, retention or understanding of what it is that you're reading.
Right.
You're reading without absorbing. You are that talking dog from yesterday.
Yeah.
It's hard to retain something you never understood
or care about, to be quite honest with you. Like, I mean, you ask me in an hour, what Herm Edwards is up to, and I'll tell you he's a candidate for Arizona State's head coaching job. Mm-hmm. I mean,
okay.
And Talib and Crabtree, reduced 2 games to 1. Mm-hmm. That's stuff I care about.
I apologize to the company, to America. I've been analyzing this Eli Manning thing all wrong. Can we talk about his face?
Yep.
Just his face. Gamer put it on the poll. Does he look sedated? Or that his skin is heavy? The skin on his face is heavy.
Do you think he was crying yesterday?
There's video.
I mean, he was emotional.
I didn't see actual
He was
tears.
emotional, but his face makes it hard because his face, you didn't see actual tears. You want to be out there with the take of questioning the sincerity of his cracking voice?
My personal record book, no tears.
Okay.
Never cried. I don't know. I feel like he has the same facial expression no matter
when he
what.
wins the championship or whether he's 2-9. The part that I just don't understand, can't we make the argument that what is disrespectful to Eli Manning is to make him continue working with those bums?
Right.
Like, couldn't we
talent they surrounded him with?
Couldn't we make the argument like we're doing him a great respect by not making him play behind Eric Flowers anymore?
This is radio. Does he sound sad in this clip right here?
I don't have to make sense of it. That's this is what it is, and like I said, you got to deal with it. That's hard. It's been a hard day to handle this, but hang in there. And
I think what's important is it doesn't sound like a hard day in the background. Like, what the hell is going on in the Giants locker room? Was someone riding a horse?
I don't know.
Did someone gallop past roaring on a horse? It was Beckham, wasn't it? It was Beckham with a lasso horse. I bet he was shirtless and hawking some stuff.
It was Gino.
Wait a minute. See if you can hear Geno Smith's comment somewhere in the background as Eli Manning blubbered.
I don't have to make sense of it. This is what it is, and like I said, you got to deal with it. That's hard. It's been a hard day to handle this.
There it is, right there.
Gino.
That's Gino.
Come over here, reporters.
As Eli says,
I'm the starter
It's
now.
been a hard day. Woo! New sheriff, baby.
I'd like Mike. Do you have sound after Eli won a Super Bowl? Because I guarantee you he sounds the same way after winning a Super Bowl as he did yesterday.
No, here's the thing, though. The sound does him no favors because you can't really hear the emotion in the sound. But the video, the video with the audio,
yes,
you see the red eyes, you see the chin. Mike, yes or no, was the chin sort of shaking?
A little chin quiver, a lip quiver.
Was there, Guillermo, put it on the poll. Was there a lip or chin quiver from Eli Manning? Because the audio doesn't help us.
No.
Other than the Geno audio roaring in the background with happiness because he is now the starter. New York is mine again.
Here's sound of Eli Manning from the Super Bowl podium.
I don't know. I'll take it one week at a time.
It sounds sadder there than he did yesterday.
No, that's not really after the Super Bowl win. That was also from yesterday when he was asked if that's the end of his future with the Giants. How about this thing? One of the complicated positions that you get put in sometimes when you work with others is Michael Smith, when Jamel Hill is suspended, is forced to make a decision on whether he wants to keep doing that show in her absence when she is suspended for some stuff that happened with the president. Michael Smith, her colleague on air.
Right.
And have you seen what's happened now with Matt Lauer? Like where Matt Lauer is out at NBC and the move now when a trusted man has betrayed the public, the move now is you've got to go summon a woman to go deliver the news to everybody. You realize that you have to go get Savannah Guthrie.
Right.
You got to put her in the position of going to deliver the news, and she's broken and she's sad because she's friends with him, but you can't have a man delivering that news. So now you're putting – same thing happened with Charlie Rose, right?
It was Gayle King, yeah. She was really broken up about it. She delivered the news.
But you do that strategically. You do that as a company so that somebody can realize there's a human being under there and that there's a human being with relationships in the building.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems as though CBS's morning show offered up some sort of template, and NBC's Today Show, they followed it, and they had Hoda up there with something.
Oh, man, they called Hoda. Hoda came in there in an emergency, man. Hoda doesn't ever look disheveled. They called Hoda in, and we got to get women on the air. Hurt women. Give them the Eli Manning face. Like, seriously, because your company goes into protection mode. Like, you're paying Matt Lauer way too much. Man, that's such a company breach, man. I can't even imagine what that investigation. So first of all, these women, Stugotz, I'm telling you, this is Hollywood fancies itself leaders in politics, and Hollywood often gets it wrong and bothers a whole lot of America that feels judged by Hollywood. But a place that Hollywood has gotten it right is, good God, have the powerful women in Hollywood given a voice to this that has given strength to other women.
No doubt.
Yes. Hollywood has been the leader on this, where these strong actresses are coming forth and saying, no, this isn't okay anymore. And now it's given all of this strength throughout entertainment for women who have been treated poorly or in some cases illegally by men in power.
Oh, it's okay to speak up now.
Now have, it's okay. Yes. I don't have to hide anymore.
Right.
I don't have to be afraid. You're the one that needs to be afraid now. I'm so tired of being afraid of saying anything. You're the one that now has to sleep at night afraid, knowing that I might come for you because of all the things that you did to me in the past when you had power over me.
Did you see what happened with Uma Thurman? Uma Thurman was famously in Pulp Fiction, and Harvey Weinstein produced Pulp Fiction, and she was interviewed a couple weeks back saying, I don't trust what I'm going to say when I'm angry, but I will say something. And then a few days ago, she released her measured statement, which is Harvey Weinstein doesn't deserve a bullet.
It's a time, like there is a shift right now going on that is going to make a whole lot of people uncomfortable, but it's long overdue, man. It is long overdue. And if you're grabbing Matt Lauer and Charlie Rose, who are supposed to be some of the few people left in media that have some credibility, if the flames climb up that high to grab faces in news that are viewed as not the slimy ones. Like, there are plenty of people in news who you're like, that guy's doing stuff.
This one was jarring, man. It was jarring to me. It was jarring to a lot of people.
You know what? I don't find this one jarring just because if I tell you in a vacuum, guy has money and power and is headed into his 40s or 50s and is still attracted to 20 and 30-year-olds, is he going to be led by a moral compass that keeps him rigidly on the right side of his principles, or is he going to get buried by temptation? If I'm playing a game show,
right,
I'm going to guess more often than not that there's going to be rock star stuff that comes with power and money that...
Be careful, because I feel like you're describing yourself.
How? What did I just describe?
You just said I can't be surprised if you get embroiled in one of these controversies, essentially.
Money and power. Well, wait a minute.
I'd be shocked.
I'd be shocked.
You shouldn't be.
Don Batard.
Alan, you got something big and hairy for me?
Stugotz.
Everything you just said about me is true. I'm a fraud.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Should a referee ever be throwing out LeBron James?
Wow. I mean, it's the first time that's happened in his career. I think the referee, I'll have to look it up, I think he said he felt a bit threatened that LeBron was lunging at him
angry LeBron.
Yeah, that's
6'8".
Yeah.
What's he listed at, Mike? Because whatever he's listed at is a lot.
I think it's 6'9". I'll tell you in a second. But, there was cursing in the ear. There was, a punch that he threw in the air, not at the referee, and then lunging towards the referee. I don't know. I watched it last night. I didn't feel like LeBron should have been thrown out for it.
LeBron is not actually lose his cool threatening, because you don't get bad public moments from him that are rage filled. He'll complain about calls, but he's not going to do anything that is going to result in scandal because he's angry. Hell, the Draymond Green would have gotten that out of him if anybody would have.
He's listed at 6'8".
But what about weight? Isn't he listed at 250, which is just bogus, man?
Yeah, he's listed at 250.
I mean, it's ridiculous. He won't get on a scale. He won't get on a scale because he wants people to think he's 250, but he ain't 250. There's just no chance.
You know for a fact he won't get on a scale.
No, Mike, he won't. He has not been weighed since like high school. There was a Sports Illustrated article that was written about he won't get on a scale. He doesn't want people to know what he weighs because I think would you be surprised if LeBron James was closer to 300 pounds than 250?
Yeah, I would be.
If he was 275?
Well, that's not closer. That's cutting it right down the middle.
Thank you. Thank you. Good math. Stugotz. Allison.
276?
Yeah, you're right. Man, you'd be all in. Allison, can you please tell me where we are with Big Baller Brand? We bought $1,000 worth of shoes for 2 or 4 listeners months and months ago. There was all sorts of organizational chaos. You just got a note from Big Baller Brand?
Yes, that the sneakers have been sent out.
Wow.
$500 sneakers have been sent out 7 months after you ordered them.
Are they the sneakers we ordered, or did they have
no way.
Did we have a stylistic change since we ordered the enormously expensive?
No, it's the same order, but one guy that wants them signed. He doesn't want the sneakers. He wants us all to sign them, too.
Oh, he wants us to sign them.
Yes.
It's important that it's actually not the same design that we purchased. They switched it up on everybody.
Wait a minute. We bought $500 sneakers, and they just changed. What are we getting?
Yeah, that was a move.
Listen, you're getting whatever LeVar put together in the basement of his house.
You're getting the remix now.
When are we getting it? What is the news?
I'll click on the tracking.
Okay, so soon. So very soon they're going to be in our presence. Do we have any idea what the original concoction looked like? Because I kind of like the original concoction. Are we going to get some yellow shoes with goldfish in the heels?
I
mean, what are we getting?
The original design.
I don't know.
The original design looked like a knockoff of a Kobe shoe. And they remixed it, and now everybody that purchased the original Kobe knockoff is getting the remix. Unless you tell them otherwise that you don't want.
I'd like to know. Get me that. Find out for me when that's going to be in studio, because I'd like to look at it and compare. Like, if you pay $500 for sneakers, shouldn't you get what you ordered? This doesn't seem unreasonable.
Yeah, and when you order them from Nike and Adidas.
How is it possible? How is it possible? Can you guys get LeVar on the phone for me so I can yell at him? I want to go and yell at him like customer service yell at him.
You should, absolutely. Yes.
Like, LeVar, I ordered a certain kind of sneaker for some winners in our audience. They won something. What was the contest that we did?
Yeah, the biggest ball.
Oh, wash
contest.
the biggest ball. That's right, because LeVar Ball's name in Spanish means to wash balls. The person who washed the biggest ball won the sneakers.
We actually did that?
Yeah, we did that.
We thought it was a good idea.
Well, they sent us videos. It was funny. They was funny.
Well, we were torn between two contests, so we made it wash the biggest ball and funniest, best LeVar knockoff entrance. Remember his swagging?
Oh, the swaggering
walk.
entrance into First Take. Did that guy? Yeah, that guy who came out of a warehouse with confetti won, right?
Yes, yes, that's right.
That guy he came out of a warehouse with confetti and a warehouse where clearly people had been slaughtered. Animals of some kind had been slaughtered. The whole thing was scary.
Still a controversy about the second winner because we wanted one person, Stugotz, and you kind of forced another guy on, and this guy doesn't even want to wear the shoes now.
Just wants autographs.
Why did you force someone else on?
Well, it was both of us.
Yeah, we wanted to give it to this mailman from Flint, Michigan, and you guys chose against it. Just some guy kept falling in his bathtub.
Yeah, you were anti-Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways,
all
right.
Michigan.
When am I going to have shoes? And can I get there are no refunds, right? He's got a no refund policy.
Yeah, no refunds. The tracking, there's a shipment a label has been created, but it has not been shipped yet.
Okay, it's not been shipped.
A label's been created?
We're still in
baby steps.
How do these people take longer to send out shoes than I do shirts? Ridiculous.
How long ago was this again?
7 months ago?
May 5th.
May 5th. Cinco de Mayo.
This seems like a flawed business plan that LeVar is running here.
This was a business plan you were praising in the middle of all that.
I think we had him on 3 times in one show to promote the business brand.
Might have been that show. We did an entire LeVar Ball show.
I'd like to call him and if I get customer service for Big Baller Brand, wouldn't you guys want to hear that? Wouldn't you guys want to hear me making a customer service call to LeVar Ball asking him, how the hell have I not gotten sneakers in 7 months?
Our calls to LeVar are going to voicemail right now. I guess he's dealing with Chinese manufacturers on the other
All
line.
right, we're going to try and get LeVar here before the end of the show. There's something here where I don't know who customer service is for Big Baller Brand.
Him.
It's LeVar.
Right, so
it's a one-person operation.
They're not unreasonable complaints, man. 7 months, I should get the $500 shoes I ordered.